When Princess Anne emerged, it began as a hushed conversation behind Kensington Palace walls, one that aides tried to downplay and courtiers quickly silenced. But the look on Princess Catherine's face as she exited that private meeting said everything the palace couldn't. Something was wrong, and it involved Charlotte. What was first dismissed as a rumor soon turned into a royal firestorm, now confirmed by the very people who fought to protect it. Before we go deeper into what this really means for the royal family, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. Inside the room, whispers collided with the rigid calm of protocol. Catherine, resolute yet visibly shaken, had consulted with a circle of the palace's most trusted medical advisors and strategists, the kind who rarely breach silence. Reports had surfaced of a sudden health development affecting Princess Charlotte, a detail that prompted an extraordinary level of secrecy. Courtiers were instructed to maintain the strictest discretion, a move signaling gravity far beyond the usual veil of royal privacy. Observers recall Catherine's pale visage as she departed, her hands clutched tightly, her composure only partially intact, while Prince Willie, I am, ever the protector, later appeared at Charlotte's side, offering comfort that was both physical and unspoken, a gesture of familial courage in the face of uncertainty. Behind the palace's imposing doors, aides murmured of irregularities, noting that staff behavior had shifted subtly for weeks. Concerned glances, late-night whispers, unexplained meetings, hints that the public eye had not yet caught. Media insiders, long attuned to the slightest tremors within the royal framework, finally sensed the breaking of a dam, a story too profound to remain contained. What had started as a mere rumor, a shadow along the gilded corridors of tradition, was now undeniable. And the ramifications threatened not only Charlotte's well-being but the fragile equilibrium of a family under relentless scrutiny. But the chilling truth wasn't just about Charlotte's health, it was tied to a royal legacy that had long been buried, until now. Some secrets refused to stay buried, and this one had roots stretching back to the days of Queen Elizabeth II's final decrees. Whispers suggested that Charlotte's transformation was not merely medical, but tied to a generational legacy carefully concealed from public eye. Within the palace, historical patterns of rare hereditary conditions had long been noted, documented in layers of medical logs and letters patent, each word weighed for both accuracy and discretion. Past interventions by royal doctors, conducted with surgical precision, had sought to mitigate risks quietly, often involving protocols that blurred the line between guardianship and guardianship over public perception. The weight of these hidden histories pressed down on Charlotte and those closest to her, a pressure compounded by the constant glare of expectation and the unyielding march of succession. Camilla and Charles, caught in this delicate web, confronted not only the immediate challenge of their daughter's condition, but also the spectral presence of decisions made decades earlier, each echoing through the corridors of power, reminding them that legacy is both a gift and a burden. Legal frameworks and medical directives intersected with personal stakes, forcing the family to navigate a treacherous landscape where every choice might reverberate through history, forever altering the public perception of duty, lineage, and love. Tears were not often seen in the halls of Buckingham Palace, yet on this night King Charles and Queen Camilla were overcome. The sight of their daughter, suddenly changed in ways that defied expectation, shattered the illusion of control that the monarchy clung to so desperately. Charles, usually measured and disciplined, found himself uncharacteristically vulnerable, grappling with the tension between paternal instinct and sovereign responsibility. Camilla, striving to maintain composure, battled a cascade of emotions beneath the mask of regal decorum, her eyes betraying a depth of fear and sorrow few had witnessed. Late into the evening, private consultations unfolded behind closed doors, the legendary red box untouched on its polished surface, a silent testament to the gravity of the moment. Staff, attuned to subtle shifts in demeanor, noted a pall of unease that lingered beyond the private chambers, the kind that seeps into the daily rhythm of palace life, leaving courtiers unsettled and rumors quietly fomenting. The balance of public image and private anguish collided in a rare display of human fragility within the fortress of tradition. But while the royal parents grappled with uncertainty, others had already begun maneuver. Behind the scenes, insiders whispered of factions forming, old rivalries reigniting, and silent alliances made over whispered cups of Earl Grey. The transformation of Charlotte had unexpectedly shaken the equilibrium of the palace, prompting strategic recalculations among those entrusted with tradition. Princess Anne, ever vigilant, convened discreet meetings, her iron-willed approach reinforcing the urgency of protection over personal sentiment. Prince William, aligned with Catherine, orchestrated silent contingencies, reinforcing the defense of both Charlotte and the institution. Across the wings, aides and advisors maneuvered carefully, some attempting to shield the family, others quietly leveraging the moment for influence, all aware that the palace was watching with unseen eyes. Information leaked selectively, strategically, a chessboard of whispers and observations shaping the narrative before the press could seize the story. Even minor movements, a corridor closed, a document held back, a meeting rescheduled signaled the invisible hand of intervention. As the guardians of tradition and opportunists of influence silently edged toward confrontation, tensions would soon erupt, apart into a battle over more than just secrecy. It was a contest of legacy itself. The first reports hit the tabloids like cannon fire. Princess Charlotte's sudden change, framed with speculation and gravitas, leaving the public both shocked and divided. News outlets, some cautious and others sensational, wrestled to define a reality the palace had struggled to contain, while the royal family watched as narratives crystallized outside their control. Camilla and Charles faced a duality of response, balancing public sympathy with private anguish, their decisions scrutinized both in headlines and within the gilded walls of their own home. Carefully vetted statements were issued, incomplete yet precise, a reflection of the delicate dance between transparency and discretion. Rumors regarding genetic implications, health prognosis, and potential ramifications for succession circulated with relentless momentum, challenging the family's capacity to maintain order. The palace, in its quiet urgency, sought to regain control of the narrative, mobilizing aides to counter inaccuracies, calibrate messaging, and monitor the impact on both domestic and international perception. And as the world watches, a naiad, the royal family faced an impossible question. What could be done, and who would decide? Behind closed doors, the guardians of the crown mobilized. Their moves were swift, surgical, and deliberate, signaling that the monarchy's sacred geography could not be endangered, even by fate itself. Princess Anne, in consultation with William and Catherine, initiated precise interventions designed to safeguard Charlotte's well-being and preserve the institution's continuity. Legal counsel, medical advisors, and senior palace officials coordinated strategies that blurred the lines between precaution, protocol, and protection, invoking historical directives and letters patent to solidify authority. Secret alliances fortified the family's inner circle, creating a network of resilience against both internal uncertainty and external speculation. Early doctrines, unspoken yet deeply understood, were implemented to shield Charlotte from unnecessary exposure, while reinforcing the public perception of strength and continuity. Each decision, weighed with meticulous care, underscored the gravity of a monarchy faced with both human vulnerability and institutional duty. But even as allies rallied, the unexpected nature of Charlotte's transformation continued to challenge every protocol. The moment arrived when King Charles, Camilla, Anne, and William faced one another, each carrying stakes too heavy for any outsider to comprehend. Emotions surged in the room where protocol and intimacy collided, a space where every glance, every pause, every inflection carried meaning. Debate unfolded over disclosure, succession, and Charlotte's well-being, the air thick with tension and unspoken fears. Camilla, caught between maternal concern and courtly expectation, wrestled with the enormity of her influence, while Charles, torn between love and responsibility, struggled to mediate a resolution that honored both duty and heart. The guardians, led by Anne's unyielding presence, asserted guidance, framing decisions within a larger context of legacy, precedent, and protection. Negotiations were tense, the emotional stakes amplified by the knowledge that each choice would reverberate through palace history. No one left unchanged. The choices forged here would echo for decades. In the quiet aftermath, the palace exhaled. Charlotte, resilient, continued her days under watchful eyes, a living emblem of vulnerability and fortitude, while King Charles and Camilla confronted truths no crown could shield them from. Family adaptation unfolded subtly, alliances strengthened, and strategies refined to ensure that the delicate balance of well-being and legacy endured. Reflection permeated every corridor, a reminder that duty, love, and the human heart coexist within a structure often perceived as unyielding. Protections were codified, protocols reaffirmed, and the palace's guardians reaffirmed their commitment to the continuity of the crown, underscoring that while personal trials remain invisible to the public, the monarchy's resilience endures. And in that solemn silence, the palace learned that even a sacred trust can be tested by the unexpected, yet survive through unity and resilience. Some secrets refuse to stay buried, and this one had roots stretching back to the days of Queen Elizabeth II's final decrees. Whispers suggested that Charlotte's transformation was not merely medical, but tied to a generational legacy carefully concealed from public eyes. Inside the walls of Kensington and Buckingham, the air seemed charged with echoes of decisions made decades ago, choices documented in letters patent and medical protocols that few outside the palace could comprehend. Reports suggest that certain hereditary conditions had surfaced sporadically in the royal bloodline, whispered about in hushed consultations and quietly managed by palace doctors with decades of experience navigating the delicate intersection of health, protocol, and succession. Sources close to the Highland staff indicate that past interventions had been surgical in their precision, each designed to protect not only the young heir's physical well-being but also the integrity of a monarchy that could not show vulnerability. Charlotte herself, though remarkably resilient, carried the psychological weight of these hidden histories. Her days framed by careful routines and subtle oversight, each action measured, each interaction guided by adults who bore the dual burdens of care and discretion. Camilla and King Charles, confronted with a dilemma both urgent and familiar, found themselves grappling not only with immediate concerns, but also with the specter of choices made by generations before them, decisions whose shadows extended far beyond the confines of any medical report. Palace administration, TIVE streams ranging from security log leaks to insider whispers, noted the tension in every gesture, the weight of legacy pressing against the natural tenderness of parental instinct, the silent gravity of duty shaping every word spoken in private chambers. Letters that once rested quietly in the red box now took on renewed significance, their instructions interpreted anew as advisors debated the best course forward, weighing public expectation against private necessity. Those familiar with the Duchy of Cornwall's rigorous standards quietly acknowledged that such moments, though rare, required extraordinary measures, blending tradition with urgent innovation, and creating a framework in which Charlotte's well-being could be preserved while the monarchy itself remained unshaken. The guardians of tradition, already vigilant, began subtly coordinating measures to protect both Charlotte and the broader lineage, understanding that every decision made now would resonate for decades to come. Every consultation, every strategy meeting, and every quiet exchange behind palace doors underscored the profound truth that Charlotte's transformation, far from being a mere medical concern, was intended. And with the very architecture of legacy and the invisible obligations of the crown, the family's struggle was no longer private. Its ripple effects were poised to reshape the monarchy itself. Tears were not often seen in the halls of Buckingham Palace, yet on this night, King Charles and Queen Camilla were overcome. The sight of their daughter or granddaughter, depending on the whispers, suddenly changed, a reminder that even the most ordered institution could not control everything. Charles, usually composed and deliberate, appeared uncharacteristically vulnerable, pacing the private chambers with a restless tension that betrayed the weight of responsibility pressing on him from every direction. Camilla, equally determined to maintain a regal front, fought to mask the tremor in her voice and the subtle shake in her hands, each gesture betraying a storm of anxiety that she could not entirely conceal. Late into the night, aides observed hushed consultations, whispered strategies, and deliberations over sensitive documents, the red box a symbol of authority and decision left untouched, its contents perhaps too daunting to confront in that fragile hour. Questions loomed: what to reveal, now, what to conceal, and how much the public had the right to know when private family matters intertwined so tightly with the crown's reputation. Within the palace corridors, the staff sensed the shift immediately. Doors closed behind meetings, corridors normally open to routine traffic became quiet and tense, and whispers traveled faster than the usual flow of protocol. There was a collective recognition that the balance of power, trust, and parental instinct hung by a delicate thread, and every action taken or withheld would reverberate beyond these walls. In this charged atmosphere, Charles and Camilla wrestled with impossible decisions, caught between duty to the institution and devotion to family, each choice heavy with consequences both immediate and generational. But while the royal parents grappled with uncertainty, others had already begun maneuvering behind the scenes. The first reports hit the tabloids like cannon fire. Princess Charlotte's sudden change, framed with speculation and gravitas, leaving the public both shocked and divided. Headlines splintered the palace's carefully maintained silence, each outlet spinning narratives that ranged from sympathetic concern to sensational alarm, amplifying every detail into a story that could no longer be contained behind gilded doors. Camilla and King Charles, caught between the swelling tide of public curiosity and their own private anguish, faced the impossible task of navigating a storm that threatened both the dignity of their family and the integrity of the crown. Carefully crafted statements were released, vetted and re-vetted, each word weighed for impact, yet they revealed only fragments, leaving unanswered questions to fester in the public imagination. Whispers of genetic implications, royal protocol, and potential succession ramifications rippled through social circles, journalists and palace insiders alike, transforming a private family concern into a national obsession. Staff moved swiftly, coordinating with communications teams and medical advisors to regain some measure of narrative control, yet every action seemed to only fan the flames, as if the story had taken a life of its own. Sources close to the palace suggest that even minor leaks were meticulously monitored, with aides recalibrating strategies in real time, anticipating the next headline or rumor that might emerge. Every phone, call, every briefing, every carefully timed statement became a high-stakes maneuver in a drama that had escalated far beyond familial walls. And as the world watched, the royal family faced an impossible question. What could be done, and who would decide? Behind closed doors, the guardians of the crown mobilized. Their moves were swift, surgical, and deliberate, signaling that the monarchy's sacred geography could not be endangered, even by fate itself. Princess Anne, renowned for her iron-willed discipline and unyielding vigilance, convened with Prince William in a series of clandestine meetings, their discussions meticulously orchestrated to anticipate every contingency. Legal counsel and palace medical advisors, summoned from both London and Balmoral, drafted comprehensive plans designed to protect Charlotte's well-being while maintaining the integrity of the institution, a dual responsibility that demanded both precision and discretion. Secret alliances were quietly forged, courtiers and aides carefully positioned as sentinels, each entrusted with guarding information and reinforcing the palace's defensive strategies against external speculation. Letters patent and directives from a red box were reviewed and invoked, their authority layered with decades of precedent, forming a framework within which the guardians could act decisively without breaching protocol. Early doctrines were deployed, codified yet discreet, designed to counter any media intrusion and shape the narrative with calculated subtlety, ensuring that public perception could be managed without revealing vulnerabilities. Even as these measures were implemented with exacting care, each plan underscored the fragile tension at the heart of the monarchy. The need to protect Charlotte, preserve tradition, and navigate a world where rumors and scrutiny were unrelenting forces. Courtiers observed a flurry of movement, subtle yet charged. Corridors once quiet now alive with purpose. Every action a calculated reinforcement of control and authority. The atmosphere was taut, charged with a sense of urgency that spoke to the gravity of what was at stake. The future of a young princess, the stability of the crown, and the perception of the monarchy itself. But even as allies rallied, the unexpected nature of Charlotte's transformation continued to challenge every protocol. The moment arrived when Charles, Camilla, Anne, and William faced one another, each carrying stakes too heavy for any outsider to comprehend. Decisions would be made, and the line between duty and family blurred. The room crackled with tension, an atmosphere thickened by years of expectation, legacy, and the weight of public scrutiny. Voices, though measured, carried an undercurrent of urgency as debate unfolded over the delicate balance between disclosure, succession, and Charlotte's immediate well-being. Camilla, torn between maternal instinct and the demands of her position, wrestled visibly with each word, her composure fracturing in brief, poignant moments, while Charles, weighed down by both love and responsibility, wavered between caution and decisiveness, conscious that every gesture might ripple beyond these walls. Princess Anne, unflinching as ever, asserted guidance with the authority of experience and a reputation forged through decades of loyalty to the crown, her presence a reminder that tradition and protocol could not be compromised, even in the face of personal anguish. William, aligned with Anne, reinforced the Guardian's influence, presenting strategies designed to protect Charlotte W.H. an aisle safeguarding the institution, navigating the razor's edge between family and duty with precision. Every choice carried profound implications. The potential reshaping of public perception, the precedent it might set for succession, and the invisible, enduring pressures on a young princess now at the center of a storm she had neither created nor controlled. Discussions stretched long into the night, the room a theater of intersecting loyalties and unspoken fears, as each member weighed consequence against compassion, protocol against parental devotion. The air itself seemed to hold its breath, every glance, every pause, every carefully chosen phrase amplifying the gravity of the moment, a reminder that even the most formidable institutions are tested by crises that defy preparation. No one left unchanged. The choices forged here would echo for decades. In the quiet aftermath, the palace exhaled. Charlotte, resilient, continued her days under watchful eyes, navigating a world of expectations and subtle protections, while King Charles and Camilla confronted truths no crown could shield them from. The family adapted with measured grace, each member learning to adjust to a reality that, when Princess Anne emerged, it had been altered in ways both unforeseen and profound. Alliances within the royal family, once tentative and strategic, strengthened under the weight of shared concern and purpose, with Anne and William continuing to serve as pillars of guidance and guardianship. Reflection settled over the palace like a soft, inevitable fog as the custodians of tradition balanced duty, legacy, and the undeniable human heart that beats at the center of monarchy. Long-term protections for Charlotte were meticulously implemented, blending medical oversight with legal frameworks, letters patent, and carefully coordinated protocols that ensured both her safety and the integrity of the institution. In every corridor and council, there was a silent acknowledgement that the crown endures, a testament to the resilience of centuries-old tradition, but the price of continuity is deeply personal, etched in the quiet sacrifices and sleepless nights of those who bear the weight of both family and state. And in that solemn silence, the palace learned that even a sacred trust can be tested by the unexpected, yet survive through unity and resilience. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I see you in the next one.